Welcome to the Warrior Not Worrier Podcast, where we find what turns a worrier into a warrior, not only in business, but in personal life as well.
Awesome. I love that introduction. Well, Jack Walker, thank you for being here on the Warrior Not Worrier Podcast.
Thank you.
You and I are now just reconnecting a little bit after knowing each other for several times. First time we're actually meeting, but it's funny how now looking back on when we started, connecting, how much of a turning point you were for my personal business, and to see how much you actually now have grown in that time frame. But really, also just you're 7 years younger than me. You're 27 years old. You have I follow you on social media. Went to the chiropractor today, taking care of your body. Not many people do that at your age. Like, what in the podcast of Warrior Not Worrier? I'm gonna get in the first question. You obviously are a warrior, W-A-R, war, not a warrior. Maybe you are subconsciously, but where have you gotten this mindset of just accomplishing everything that you're going after? You don't feel like you could fail right now. You're on a winning streak. What got you to that point?
Habits. I think it's a big thing with me with my daily rituals and daily habits, right? So it starts with, waking up early. So
what time?
I typically, it's been changing over the years, but for me right now, I wake up anywhere between 4 and 4:30, just naturally. I do set an alarm clock for 4:30 because I don't want to go past that, but I typically wake up before that. So it starts with habits, right? What you do every single day, in stacking wins in the morning will compound how you think throughout your day, right? So I started doing this a long time ago. It really started when I was 19 years old. I got my real estate license at that point. I was working at the JW Marriott at Desert Ridge, right? Making nothing.
Pre-valet?
No, I was in the restaurants.
Okay.
So I was doing dining room attendance, right?
Okay.
Bar back, food delivery, all that stuff, which taught me a lot. Everything in life teaches you. I got great communication skills with accomplished people, right? As a young guy.
True.
So 19, it started then when I got my real estate license, and I, joined with my mentor, Patrick Tice, started teaching me the ropes. And then it was really when, my whole paradigm shifted. And I've told this story a couple times, is when, I've sold my first couple houses, right? So I went from no money to 10,000 in the bank in less than 60 days. And it blew my mind, right? So I quit the job at the Marriott.
That's possible that you could do that? That had 10,000 and that you could do something else besides waiting tables and working at...
Exactly. Yeah. I'm oh my God, I just got a check for $2,900 and the next one was $6,100 or whatever. I was holy shit, dude. I was this is amazing. I just couldn't believe it. So, it started with that. It started with that frame, right? It was the initial capital I got as a young guy. I was 20 years old at that point, and that shifted my whole paradigm. So then, because I had this money and because I dove deep into, the entrepreneurial world, I started to read more. I read every single day, right? I started following people, started changing my mental mindset, started believing more in myself, right? And I still had vices at this time, right? I'm still a young guy. I'm smoking weed. I'm still doing dumb shit, right?
Which is what your friends are doing too, if you're hanging out with that group, especially that age.
Yeah, exactly. But over the years, you learn to cut out all the bullshit over time, right? And then you get really nitty gritty on what to focus on and what works for you, right? So I started to just immerse myself into these, successful habits, right? So fast forward to today now, my routines are everything, right? So I wake up in the morning super early, 4 to 4:30. I go right into drinking 2 big cups of water, right? Boom, right into it. 2 cups of water.
Always, every morning.
Every single morning. And then I go right into reading my book, right? So I read, right now I'm reading Ed Milet's new book, The Power of One More, because I need some inspiration in the morning, right? I need to learn something. I read mostly self-help books, something that's going to inspire me while I'm, when I'm reading, right? So, I keep my house at 68 degrees at night. So I wake up, I usually put on like some dope sweats and a hoodie on because I love rocking that in the morning. And then I make coffee, right? So with my coffee is when I read my book, right?
Okay.
So then I read the book, and then right after I'm reading my book, I'm super inspired, feeling grateful. I'll usually journal too. So I'll just like, I take notes on like, okay, what did I take away from that chapter? And then what, how am I feeling right now? Right. So like, it's usually like, I stay in this like, extreme gratitude feeling. Like I attract like anything and everything I want into my life. Like just how I live, how I feel.
Yes.
I'm a young boss.
Yes. I love it. Are you self-aware, you'd say then?
Very self-aware. Yeah. Very self-aware. Yeah. I know what works for me. I know what triggers me. And then I go right to the fucking gym, right? I go right to the gym and I go hard, like, because like my physical presence, how I feel physically will make me feel, so much confident throughout the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, to be honest with you, when I see another human being and they're ripped, right? My goal is to be ripped, rich, and rare, right?
I like that.
But I got that from this guy, Wes Watson, who's one of my trainer I'm working with. But when I see someone who's fit, I know what it takes, right?
Yeah.
I know the diet, right? So for me, then it goes to the gym, right? So I'm going to the gym, and then I'm coming home and I'm eating healthy, right? So food, all that stuff. And all these wins that I'm stacking throughout the day just makes me feel amazing, right? Mm-hmm. So I've been doing this for years now, right? So it's the compound effect. Mm-hmm. So as someone young, successful, with money, assets, cash flow, business, employees, everything in between, I can do basically anything I want,
right?
I would say the biggest thing is like positive habits every single day.
So you just said it, you could do anything you want. How do you now know to stay, not in your lane, but to add on to what you already have accomplished? Because obviously at one point you probably think you had too much on your plate, and then you add your quality control for, VacayAZ, how many properties I don't know how many you have. So how are you managing all that business? And you just talked about this whole day. That sounds like a whole Sunday for most people.
Yep.
And that you're not even talking about 9 o'clock yet. So how do you do that? Plus all the other stuff you guys have as well. I mean, I don't.
So it starts with, I started listening to the rapper Nipsey Hussle a long time ago, right? He's my favorite rapper. And his concept is the marathon, right? So with a marathon, and I ran a marathon too because I wanted to feel what it felt like. But the marathon is long-term thinking, right? We were just talking about whole life insurance, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. You put all this money in for years, mm-hmm. and you don't see any returns, but then it starts to really compound, right? Yes. So for me, I am strictly focused on the marathon, mm-hmm. right? I understand that I'm young. I don't know much, really. I mean, just be real. Like right. I've only lived such short time so mm-hmm. far. And, I lost my train of thought there for a second, but
you said something. Most people are in the mindset of, I'll believe it when I see it. And you remind me of my own self, and it's I call myself like a delusional optimistic, DO, like a doer. It seems like you're more of like, I see it, so I believe it. And that's kind of what I touched about, compound, like the life insurance, right? Like many people like we were just talking about, they don't see it, so they don't believe it. Right. You see it because and I think that also, because I have that same mindset, helps me now see like the fruits of my labor, where I might not get shit right now, but I know if I'm doing this work right here and keeping this hamster wheel going, because I see other things where I know that down the road I'll be paid in compound interest.
Ed Milet totally painted this so brilliantly. He talks about a birthday party he went to for a 5-year-old, right? And the piñata, right? Life is like a piñata, okay? He talks about how these the first 8 kids went up, spun around, hit the piñata, boom, boom, nothing. And then the very end, the scrawniest kid, he went up and whacked it, and boom, all the candy went out, right? So he's like the hero, oh my God, but actually it was the compounding effect. So then you get the candy mm-hmm. over time, right? Mm-hmm. And most people don't see to get the candy.
No, you're right.
So back to, I remember my train of thought now was, so now I, in business, since I've been able to, we started this business from the ground up, right?
What year was it officially? I remember
we started in 2017.
Okay.
So my point is I've done literally every single step. So now I understand where to put people and how to make things operate correctly, right? For example, Can Monkey. I used to be the trash man Jay. We would joke about it because someone had to do it, right? I pride myself in doing like the most shittiest jobs, right? I'm fucking in the mud. I like being in the mud. I like, and I've like digressed from that, and I focus on like, how can I add the most value?
Right.
But like, I can remember times, speaking of trash, where like the cans are so overfilled and I like put them all in my bed of my truck and my hands smelt for like 3 days. Swear to God.
I believe it.
Never forget. Like raw chicken and shit, right? Like, it had to be done though, right? I didn't know there was no Can Monkeys at this time, right?
Yeah.
So over time I've been able to like elevate to like a bird's eye view to see things in like, I'm like a great integrator. Like I'm a team leader, right? I know where to put people to accomplish the right tasks, right?
Yeah.
And with that, I think it's important that like you do the same thing over and over and over again, and back to the habits thing. Like, so no matter what, before a guest checks in, one of my quality control guys or one of my teammates will check that house, right? I need to make sure that, the AC's on, right? That the pillows are straight, things look and feel and smell right. The pool's looking good, right? Ping pong paddles are there with the balls, like all that type
Everything.
of the details. Like one of my newest clients, very wealthy young guy, was like, hey, you're going to be like super successful because you pay attention to the details.
Yes.
I'm like, damn, the details, like everything I do is details.
I remember some of your posts in the early days of, you were also like light bulb Jay. I remember you doing the light bulbs and all the details. You're always not making jokes about it, but showing like this little thing can make a huge difference.
100%.
And one of my biggest things is being consistent and persistent. Yeah. And that's what you built with your brand, is being, those little things help you stay consistent and persistent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, light bulb Jay. I was just like to, I'm kind of a goofy person in general. I just have this like funny personality. Trash man Jay, light bulb Jay, like whatever I need.
Something you said that I relate to as well. I mean, being a business owner, starting something from scratch, not many people, I don't think, get to have that opportunity. And I've learned so much from it. Coming from the corporate world, Fortune 500 companies, everything was already built out. You already had cash flow. You already had the money. So if you ever needed anything, you got to get it approved. And, there wasn't no real risk.
Right.
There was, but not really when you had your own business. And so for me, in my position, I was telling you this year, we already hired 7 people in the last 6 months. So those are all hats that I was wearing that I got to take off. So fortunately or unfortunately for the people that, work for me now, I know how to do that position, and I think that's what you were just kind of getting at. Like, that position, you probably got efficient, effective, and now you got the steps down. So now when you put someone in that position, you're like, hey, if you do it like this, you're going to be successful.
100%.
And I learned that also from the real estate world. Keller Williams, they talk about making steps as very simple, like turn on the computer, right. Type in username, type in like as simple as possible.
Simplicity is everything.
Yeah, and details. And so those are things that now you learn. So now you're gonna put in place and make sure they follow the steps after you, because there's no way you can manage all the properties, being every single one every single day. You have to put systems in place. And
it gets hard. It was hard at first, right? It was hard to let go of control, right? Control is what breaks a lot of entrepreneurs, because you think that you can do it better every time, right? That if you don't do it, then it's not going to be done right. So it took me a while.
That's a worry.
That's a worry. That is 100% worry. Is letting go of control is a worry.
How do you know that it came out to work out? Putting systems in place and processes, or how do you know that you're putting warriors in that spot that you don't have to worry about it not working out?
Data, right?
That's huge.
So the reviews,
yes,
right? So it's like, look, I always tell my team, like, everything that we do from A to Z, the end goal is to create an amazing guest experience.
Mm-hmm.
So everything we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
boom, create an amazing guest experience.
Mm-hmm.
Can Monkey, you guys solved my problem. I don't have to worry about trash anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was so stoked, which we'll get into, when I let go control of Trashman J.
Yes.
Trashman J
Yes.
retired officially when I said, hey, and I just couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, what a great like simple business model. I'm like, dude, this is fantastic.
Let's talk about that. So it's funny. So we have a mutual friend, Cody Barton, who was a client of mine in real estate. So my background, like I said, was title and escrow.
So he did your escrow.
So we did his escrow. He was the investor for real estate. So he would use the title company I worked at. So that's how I knew who Cody was.
Okay.
And so as an investor, I had asked him, hey, do you know anyone? Because I told you my other friend had talked to me about STRs. And I had asked Cody as an investor, do you know anyone with the short-term rentals, Airbnbs? Literally 2 days later, he connected us, and that it was January of 2019. So I remember my son was born right after that. But I had just partnered with CanMonkey, telling my business partner that short-term rentals was the way to go. And he was kind of not against it, but you were the tipping point of his aha moment. I was already in it, but you guys were the tipping point. And I think really what it was for him, his aha moment was to see that we did provide a solution, and he knew that the solution was maybe for homeowners. But didn't see maybe for short-term rentals, and that's what I kind of saw already. And then you just validated it, and that's where it was. That's where he got rid of his worry and became a warrior and said, "No, okay, let's do it." Like that was his moment of kind of seeing the compound interest now if we keep going this way. But I'm glad that you said that, because you've been now a long time client since the very beginning, and you've only grown from here. And that's where I kind of see it as like you guys are the rainmakers in your business. You guys add the properties, you guys do the marketing. I see the details, like you said, like you had an Excel sheet of all the things you had in a property. I was like amazed. You had like the toiletry, everything. I was like, so it's your data and all that. Like, where did that all come from? Is it just like learning over time? Was that maybe like you're the integrator? Did you have someone else that maybe brought something to the table? Because there's 3 of you, and
definitely.
So like you guys each one of your business partners, because I know I'm more of like the run through the wall, and my business partner is more the cross, dot the I's, cross the T's. So I need that. I'm the visionary, and he's the pull me back, but I'm also the jumping off the cliff and building the plane while we're falling, and he's more like, let's build it while we're on the No, we're not. So you have to have a little bit of both. Are you guys in that with your
100%? So like our business dynamic.
What? I
want some water. Yeah.
Hey Jacob.
Can you grab me that water, please?
Can you get a water, please, buddy?
Right there.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you, bro. Our business dynamic is I think that's so important. I've heard a lot about that too.
Because Zach, your other business, you guys are friends, right? You guys are friends already.
Yeah.
And you brought him into Patrick because you knew that, so you're kind of integrator, bringing that team together, essentially. Almost.
Well, the story goes a little bit deeper than that. It was Zach actually connected with Pat first, and then I connected with Pat as well.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, so Pat was the real estate broker, owned his own company, just himself. He's a one-man band.
I knew him. From the past.
From golfing. Like I think you golfed with him.
I was in title. He worked at. He was at a different. He was a real estate agent. He
knew
a different title company, and I was trying to get his business. And so we went golfing one day. It's a small world. And then so when you partnered with him, like, what the hell? This is such a small world.
So we started. We started with just selling real estate full time, right?
Okay.
And then in 2017, when Patrick was flipping a house, these Canadian investors wanted to buy it. Pat asked why. So Pat had the initial concept, right, of the business.
Short-term rentals.
Like, hey, we're going to manage. Like, he started managing his own, right there off 56th and
like Bell.
56 and Bell.
He likes that area.
Yeah, Kierland area, which we only focus on the big baller gangster houses now, but. So
I love those properties in Sedona you guys have.
Dude, we got some sick properties, dude, everywhere. But back to the dynamics of like business partners. Mm-hmm. If everyone thought the same, it would be unsuccessful, right?
Right.
So like it starts with, so Patrick is in his 50s, right? So just with like and as I'm getting older, I understand that, because as I have like some guys on my team that are, 4 or 5 years younger, and I'm like, damn, that's amazing. Like I can see around the corner more than you can, but like Pat can see around the corner more than I can.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So as you get older, you just get wiser. You've been through more shit. Right. So Patrick was able to, he's more of like he's the visionary.
Okay.
Right. So he's the visionary. And then Zach and I are a combination of integrators together.
Awesome.
Right. So Zach is like super skilled with numbers.
Okay.
Right. So he's like the numbers guy. Right. It's been a limiting belief of mine that I'm not the numbers guy. I always tell myself that, but I'm shifting that. I'm becoming like even more educated on numbers, right? Just in general, right? It's like I didn't
data and metrics, all those.
Yeah. Just like okay, if an investor buys a property for 2.5, and it does 325,000 minus this, that, how do I, just kind of like just so I can feel more competent talking about numbers. Absolutely. So you have like the combination of Pat, the visionary, who understands like how to format a business, right? How to put us young guys in place. Pat definitely like delegated. He started, delegating like, hey, okay, because I didn't know what to do, right? Zach didn't really know what to do, so it's like, all right, hey, you're gonna take care of the trash cans, right? That was me, right? Because I do a lot of the dirty work. Zach, all right, you're gonna start focusing on the bank accounts and stuff, like, how do we pay our owners and stuff? Like, we literally started from scratch. Now like the systems are so dialed in.
That's awesome.
And that's 5 years of like
trial and error,
long work, like weekends. Like that's what people, my peers and whatnot, it's like, how are you, like, well, like while you were partying and, watching Netflix on the weekends, I was working, right? Like I've been working and I still been working. I'm hungrier than ever.
Right.
But now I have this different mindset where I can move and I can delegate, and like I understand like business and life just in general more and more. I got a daughter on the way, right?
Exciting.
So super exciting, yeah. But I wanted to give you my perspective of Can Monkey.
Please do.
Yeah. So I'll never forget. It was if I have my timeline correct, I think it was like 2018, right? Does that sound right to you, or is it 2019?
I bought in with Can Monkey in November 2018. So we maybe started conversations at a timeline. January 26th was my son was born, and I remember Jack Walker was in my phone at that time frame. So I remember you coming on
2019. Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
We could have started talking in 2018, but 2019 is when beginning that January. So it was just in the tail end of that.
So what I would, we had a problem with trash can, like trash. Okay, how do we solve this? So we at first thought, have the guests do it, right? Kind of like everyone does.
They all do.
Like, hey, have the guests do it. Maybe send them a reminder. So we would try that. And a lot of guests were like, follow rules and would do it. But then you have one guest who misses it, who creates a lot of trash, and then you're screwed now, right? Now your trash is piled up, it smells, it's maggots.
A different kind of compound interest you don't want.
A different kind. So I had worries, right?
Yes.
So this is how I became a warrior, right? Was, so I remember sitting in our shoebox office, like 3 of us jam-packed in this like small office. We had our reservation grid like written in, I still have pictures of it written in like Sharpie on the wall and stuff. So funny, before we had any kind of automation or technology. That's right?
Awesome.
And every week I knew my schedule. So like, okay, these homes in 85254, like the recycle, and what was the worst is the recycle will go out one day and then the trash on the other day. And I'd be so frustrated about that, dude.
Not an 85254. That's a good zip code. They usually go out the same day.
Okay, well, whatever zip code.
But but you start knowing these things,
exactly.
Little idiosyncrasies that you have to schedule around, and it gets too much. But
and then the holidays. Oh my gosh,
the whole
holidays.
job in itself.
Or like, yeah, exactly. So I remember I remember when Cody Barton either emailed or texted us together and said, he's like, hey, Jack, got Alex here with Can Monkey. They have some type of, trash service. And I'm like, oh my God, like, boom, like light bulb went off. I remember we're all in the office in our little shoebox. I'm like, yo, I think these people can take out the trash cans for us for like a fair price, right? And we were like easy. That was the easiest decision ever. So that was like my first step of like delegating my time, right? Because I had to travel probably, I remember like some were on Monday it was like almost an every day, and I would always do it at the end of the day. So like between like maybe 6 and 7 or 5 to 8 p.m. range, right after the work day, I would kind of drive to like 5-6 houses, or, I'd ask like, hey, Patrick, you live in the area, like, would you mind getting these 3?
Right.
It just never was successful. And then as soon as we, hired you guys or contracted with Can Monkey, it was just like amazing. Like I was like, holy shit, I don't have to do this anymore. The trash cans are, you guys as a newer business, there were still flaws, right?
Absolutely. Like
the website was all buggy.
Yeah.
You guys would miss them sometimes. You didn't have like your detailed systems now where you got to take a picture every time, and communication's better. I remember there's been times where I've been frustrated, like, Can Monkey, but then, to your guys' defense, it's like, well, maybe the guests like moved them before they took it. Like there's just so many variables with that.
So many variables. And that's where we've also learned, like kind of how you were talking about how you guys are writing Sharpie on the wall. We were in that same situation. Now looking back on things that we have in place now that we did before, I don't know, when we would talk to people about our business, they'd be like, how are you guys doing this? Like what systems, like you guys are using off the shelf apps? Like but from each one of those things, that's why we started taking pictures, because I was doing the routes at one time. I was, trash man Alex. So when people were saying, well, you didn't do this properly. No, I did.
I got pictures.
I have a picture. I'll go back. So then that's where like everyone needs. So when we started, getting off that worry, when it was like, Mark, if you don't do it and I don't do it, how are we going to verify pictures? So we started implementing new things from, I'm a dad already. So you said something earlier about some wisdom, but with my 7-year-old, something that I'm big on, just to implement in her mind, if something happens, if she, makes a boo-boo, we don't call it a mistake. If it happens once, it's a lesson learned. If you do it twice, it's a mistake. So I don't try to make mistakes, try to make lesson learned. So if something happens, I'm big on saying, like, thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah.
How do I add this into new systems? How do I learn from this? If I make the mistake again and you're still frustrated, you probably wouldn't be using us after 3.5 years. So we obviously heard from your frustrations and adapted new things to help save our ass, CYA. So but and I'm sure some things that that you definitely helped us with learning that in the beginning. So it's been nice to have that and we've been able to scale in these other markets and learn each one of these markets are different. Like you said, trash is different days, holidays, so many things that like the first year we're like, oh wait, trash is on Christmas. Next year we learned, so there's things that you definitely learned, and we were the first trash to curb service provider. There was nothing to really copy or to like kind of take from. So we just definitely learned while we were going. And, but with support with companies like yourself, it's been able to succeed and grow. So it's been a nice partnership. But definitely, like we were in that little small office, right, in Sharpie on the wall. And I don't know how we got to this point, but we definitely got to this point by just pivoting, which is another favorite word of mine.
Well, you guys have been diligent, right? So like
and details, like you said, like you have to grow in any aspect of your life.
Yeah, like you're a simple service provider where you solve my guests and my owners' problems of when is the trash going to get taken out this week? I don't have to worry. I've literally not worried about that
I love it
for 3 years, ever since I signed up with you guys.
I love it, and that's the whole thing. It's like you said, like what I've learned in doing this in all these different markets, that everyone has a system or solution. And at best, it's 50%. Whether the guests do take it out, but who's bringing it back?
Correct.
Or the cleaning.
Neighbors would get mad that it was left out on the street because I would forget to go back or something.
1,000%. Or you think that the cleaning company's going to do it when they leave and they forget. Because so we've seen everything. So it's been a learning lesson in every aspect.
And I remember specifically Patrick, because me being a young guy, I'm like, like, hey, why don't we just do that still, or why don't we? But he had taught me an important lesson, like no, let's hire CanMonkey because that's their one thing, right? Like the book, the one thing, like. Yeah, so you focus on the one that's their one thing, right? So boom, mind share. I don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
So you guys solve my problem.
I'm big on the one thing too. Gary Keller's book.
Yeah.
And that's where even with CanMonkey. I mean, I know with Vacay, I know you guys have some other services. I don't you guys have like a cleaning company that you guys like? Do you guys own it, or do you guys you guys just?
We don't have a cleaning company. No. It was an idea. It was an idea at one time. There's been.
So did you learn from that maybe just keep it the one thing?
Yeah.
A learning lesson then. So
100%.
That's what I'm learning from too. Is kind of staying. I get these ideas of what, but I go back to that book, the one thing. This is our one thing. This is we're sticking to this. We're gonna do this as great as possible. And if other services come out that we can help with down the road, then awesome. But this is our one thing. Yeah, you focus. That we're focusing on.
I see a lot of people make that mistake where they try to be everything to everyone, right? And we've done that too, right? We're trying to do this, trying to do that. And I'm like, no, we got to just stay focused on what we're amazing at, right? But then when as you kind of master that, you can then move to the next one thing, right? True. So like, for example, with us is we have this new product coming soon. It's a house manual QR code based system, right?
Okay.
So most when you check into a vacation rental, most times you have a booklet, right?
Okay.
Right? You have a booklet with the Wi-Fi password. Yes. It's written, typed, laminated.
Yes.
We do it different, right? I'm sure you've seen on my social media. We have this orange stand with a QR code, and you can scan into it.
Okay.
And you can digitally edit it. So I can hop on my phone right now, and I can change, like, the Wi-Fi password happened to randomly change. I can change it real quick, right? But if before I had to print, scan, laminate, deliver to the house. Now I have this digital house manual that can do so many lead capture, right? We get everyone's information. So our vision is to sell it to other VacayAZs around the world, right? At nominal cost a month, like $8 a month per property type of subscription, right?
Absolutely.
And we get a lot of comments on it. Yeah, it's a software that we are building in-house internally. Awesome. Yeah.
And it's something that you are building not just for yourself, but seeing that it could be a solution for other people as well.
But we started with ourselves.
That's awesome.
We solved our problem by hey, these fucking house manuals are getting dirty. I need to. Sometimes I wrote hey, I would like or here's how you work this. But then a month later, I'm like, I didn't really write that very well. Let me rewrite that, right? So then I had to just change it, and the format didn't, I had to get my guy to edit it and blah, blah, blah. So now it's just so simple. You can put there's a guidebook on there and stuff, but shifting to back to CanMonkey though, with how your product, it's amazing how you guys are in all these different markets, right? So you guys service for me here in Scottsdale, Phoenix, you're up in Cave Creek, you're out in Rio Verde, everywhere. Sedona, you got a couple in Sedona for me. And then Flagstaff too. We have one property in Flagstaff, right? So what other markets are you guys in?
We just expanded over to LA, Malibu.
No way.
Market. Yeah. And
that's
so
sick.
In 2 weeks, last month we expanded into Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas was the first market we expanded into outside of Arizona, and actually didn't succeed at first. But from that lesson learned, we learned that we could expand. And when you're talking about your business partner, almost exactly the same. Mark's in his 50s. I'm 34, and I'm more the visionary. And, so that's what's nice about you is that you have the older guy is the visionary, so he has the ideas. So it's kind of not what he says goes, but it's kind of with me, I have these ideas that maybe a little grandiose.
Sure.
I'm running through a fucking wall. We'll fix the door later,
Right.
And he's more oh, whoa.
Yeah.
And so when I've wanted to expand these new markets, it's just I'm big on not recreating the wheel. It's hey, we've already did this by partnering with Jack Walker and Elizabeth, and why can't we reach out to other companies in other markets and see if they want to partner?
Exactly.
Why not? So we're lucky to have some partners that are in multiple states. So it wasn't hard to be if you had a VacayAZ, I'd be like, hey, Jack, who's your counterpart in California?
Right.
If you need our service, you think they need ours? So that's kind of like how it started. So from there, people started talking, and like I said, we're the only ones that are really doing this at the scale that we're doing it.
Yeah,
so with that being
sense.
said, people in Kissimmee, Florida are asking us here to help them with their services there. And
Yeah.
it blows my mind sometimes, but once you figure out the system and solutions for it, it's rinse and repeat. Tweak it a little bit. You gotta tweak it a little bit.
Tweak as you go.
Yeah, but it's really rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Just like you're saying, like earlier with the people that are under you a little bit, like 3-4 years, and like you're saying with Patrick, I make this analogy that we're, look, here's a long hallway. I already know the first 3 doors on the right. Don't open them.
Yeah.
You're gonna waste 2 years of your life. Just go to the 4th door.
Yeah.
But people are still gonna check the first door.
Right.
I'm telling you, dude, just get the first 3. Just go to 4. And that's what the mentorship what Patrick brings me and Mark brings me. He says, look, go to the 8th door to the left.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Yeah. And I'll go and I'll listen. I'm kind of, oh, you're right. So that's what is nice for me having Mark, and for me also, he comes from a mindset of owning his own businesses, like you're saying with Patrick. When we have to set up an LLC or S, he takes care of it. He's phenomenal. Right. He's a CFO.
Same with like my guys.
I'm not
Zach.
like that at all.
I hate that stuff too. Yeah.
So, but I'm more of like let's do this, and then I let him take his 48 hours to process it, and then I'm like, are we good? He goes, okay, but we're gonna do it like this. Okay. I can see. Oh, you're right. And we'll adapt a little bit, but ultimately, so we went to Park City. We're in Park City, Salt Lake City, like I said, California, Austin, Texas. We're in Nashville. We're in Destin, like the 30A, Destin, Panama City. We're in Orlando, Denver, Colorado.
Wow.
And
that's amazing.
And we have we're looking to expand over to like Delaware and Maryland.
Do you have an app?
So we're building one right now.
Building one.
So we're building one right now. So we actually have been building one for like several years.
Yeah.
The last partner we had is it's a different world in the software engineering, and that's
expensive.
It's expensive. It's kind of
extremely
it's
expensive.
Kind of like ambiguous. Like I have no idea what they're saying.
Right.
I'm just taking it for what it is, and if it doesn't work out, so we have a and so one of my business partners, Warrior, was hiring other people. Like, what if we can't afford it? I'm like, look, we got this. I just got to bring in more money. We got this. I'll bring in the revenue. You covered the. And so we brought in more people, and one of the people we brought on, Steve, our director of operations, he brought on a friend of his that he trusts. And that's what I've learned in this is that the more people you bring into your business organization, if you guys all share the one mind, the mindset of succeeding. He brought on Spencer, who's our software engineer, and what he's created in 4 months is like, oh my gosh. So we should have an app by the end of the year, which is going to be great for clients like you, where you have a portfolio of over 50 properties. So now you can log in, see all your properties.
So I'll be able to log in and see pictures and everything in real time?
In real time.
Oh my God.
So everything we have right now
changer.
internal, we don't keep it from you, but it's just kind of hard. We use Slack as an app. So now we're using Monday.com to build out our own infrastructure to put in our own. So you'll have your own portfolio where whether it's you or Zach or someone under you, that you have them set up. So if your owners want pictures there, you have all the information. If you, we will send to you excess trash, so you can let your quality control manager know to go put that trash in the can afterwards if you don't want to do an extra pickup. So whatever that, we're trying to make as much communication as possible. We're the eyes and ears, and that's what we understood in our position is that we're at the property. Sometimes, like we were talking the day before and after, trash and recycling are different days, 16 times a month. Almost every other day you're at the property. You see a lot of eyes. So with that being said, we want to share the information with you, that data. So you can have that information too. Or, hey, what's this on the side of the house? That chair broke? And then you have that data. Because sometimes we have the information and we get asked, when did this chair break? I don't know.
I love that, because that one of my pain points is, when there is a trash situation, confusion, sometimes, it is your mistake. Other times it's, the guest just thought to bring it back to the house or whatever it might be. So you're solving my next problem is like less communication with you guys having to like reach out to you, like, cause right now, and it's funny, you guys keep innovating and thinking like this, because we just got emails from you guys like, hey, here's how you communicate now, right? But I've had a text message thread with you guys for a long time, right? And and I still use text message threads for certain things, and it's the right application for some things, and we'll automate that and make that better over time once we figure it out organically, right?
Yeah.
I don't force anything. It's just like, let's let it happen organically. But yeah, I'm excited for the CanMonkey app. That sounds fantastic for my team to be able to see like, hey, because guests will reach out and, hey, the trash like is overflown. And then I've had to ask like Mark, like, hey, Mark, what are the trash days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they might change. They rarely change, but every new property, like Mark sent me this spreadsheet one time, which I've implemented in my system, but now I'm missing like the last 20 properties.
Right.
So I'm having to ask like, hey, what's the, so if you can like create for me as a, vacation rental management company, like what days the trash goes out, what days the recycle goes out, like that solves a lot of my, and back to my other point.
So exciting that you're saying this, because you're honestly just, and we hear everything, and this is why, like, we don't build this because we're just having these ideas. We're building this because we're hearing the frustration. We're hearing, hey, it'd be great if you had this. You're right.
Yeah.
That would be great. Like, how do we implement this now?
Yeah.
So it's like, Spencer, implement this now, not just for Jack, because if Jack has this issue, I guarantee all of our other clients do.
Right.
And once again, like, there's been so many times where we've taken the trash to the curb. It's been empty. We bring it back, and then it's like, you never took the trash to the curb. It's like, well, here's it empty. Here it is emptied. Did someone check out today? Well, they did check out. Could the cleaning company maybe left the trash? Oh, that's what it is. So
right.
We learned to CYA, cover our ass, to make sure that we have all of our I's dotted, T's crossed. And then we do make mistakes.
Exactly.
I want proof of it too, so I can send my junk removal out there to empty out the trash can and at our cost. There should be no extra cost to anyone. But I love that you're saying that, because it's exactly everything that we're implementing to make it sure. Not that we don't want to communicate with you, but we've been, it's been more like the Flintstones, and we're going to the Jetsons.
No, so here I heard this from a really wealthy guy. He's not a client yet, but most likely will be. He had sold like gaming for like probably 100 million like 5 years ago or something, like big baller guy, and he was saying how, or this actually might have been a different client, but regardless, the lesson was that any type of like communication with, like, from my business with the guests, if they have to reach out to me for a problem, that's an error, right? So I'm trying to solve that error. So like my like what I think about all the time, and most of what I think about is, how do I get 0 calls from the guests, right?
Yes.
Not that I don't want to talk to my guests, because I do. I want to hear about their great experience. I want to hear about their frustrations, because that's how I learn and grow and make things better. But like, we've solved so many issues, and we very rarely hear from our guests because we're, first thinking principles, right? So from the time that from the listing to the time that they book, to the time that they get their check-in instructions, everything is like laid out super simple. And we've had to modify this over time, right? Like, for example, we send our checkout instructions 7 days in advance, right?
Okay.
And we used to only send one email. Now, because we would send it on the 7 days before, now we send it 3 times in the week that they check in.
Okay.
So on day 7, on day 3, and on day 1 that they're checking in, right?
Make sure they got it. Yes.
Yeah, because boom, we're gonna flood their. Like, I don't want to hear like, hey, where's the check-in instructions? What's the code?
Yes.
Right. So things like that, like we've integrated over time, and now we never have anybody ask us like, hey, where's the code?
Right.
Every once in a while, you always get, there's people out there that just they arrive at the house and then they're like, oh, where's the code at? Well, why didn't you maybe check before you got there? But we have a team that's, we're fast on the response, right? And yeah, that's amazing stuff, man. I'm super proud and excited to be a partner with you guys.
I appreciate
you guys are
it.
awesome.
And exactly what you were just saying. It's like, there's been so many times that, I'm not saying that we left money on the table, but if we had an Excel sheet with your properties and you just added 20 new properties, and you're running your business, that's why we have it in place where we're adding it to where it's going to be in place that every single property you add on is going to be on there. Like, when you get a new property, you turn on APS, you get your pool company, and it's going to be CanMonkey. It's going to be one of those things. So it's going to be a working application platform for. It's going to be amazing. So, and it's going to be nice to have, just like how you're talking about your QR code. It's going to be something that, like, there's other CanMonkeys that are going to be around, other companies that, we're not going to be the only one. And I don't want to be the only one.
Right, yeah.
I want, other people to succeed and do this and get the name out there, and that there's a service like this. But with that being said, if I can create an application that maybe helps them not have Slack and this other app for, locations, this other app, like we're using 4 different apps. It's ridiculous. So if we can get everything even internally, it's going to help the next company that comes up. So we're converting, a little premature, but CM Pro. So it's going to be for the professionals, the VR Pro. So we are doing it all for. You said we started with a homeowner.
Yeah.
We didn't think about people having multiple properties when they were going to sign up.
Right.
So, but it makes sense if you're coming up with 12 properties, which happens with a lot of our clients. They're like, well, I got more than one property. How do I sign this up?
The other interesting, you guys do, you have one of our properties on Camelback Mountain. Mm-hmm. You know that one? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like one of those gangster houses out there. Great friend of ours, and we saw this trash issue because there's a gate, and he flies around in his jet to, his houses in Laguna and here and there, and he's a super cool dude, one of my best, my favorite guys, and you guys actually, you have to walk up this steep hill and empty the trash. So you guys we created like a custom system for just that one house, right? Mm-hmm. So you guys also have that application for like kind of like complicated trash situations.
We are, coming from my background in title and escrow companies are just instruction takers. And that's what we are here at CanMonkey. We're only as good as the information given to us. I say to new clients that are coming on, if you have a property, let us know exactly how to get to that can, like you would tell your neighbor or a friend. Like if there's a lock on there, if you have to lift the gate up a little bit, like every information, like whether as simple as you think it is, like we service my mom's house and her gate just gets janky. Like I know personally. And then when she texts me, it goes, Alex, you guys didn't come today. And I look in the notes and the gate's locked. I'm like, Mom, you gotta WD-40 that, So, or let me add in the notes that the lock is, is janky. So, we're only as good as information provided, and just like that property, we don't like to recreate the wheel, but we work with we're a stakeholder in your business. So if that's a property that you're going to provide to us, and that's something that we can do, and maybe to adapt a little bit, we're going to do it. There's some properties that we have that you put a gate code in to go to another property that has a gate, then you have to go to the side of the house that has a gate, and it's like, geez, but we learn from that. We get the same can runners on the same properties, so they learn that. They are familiar.
Let me ask you this question. Just some real-time feedback during this great podcast is sometimes I'll see like the cans are not like I'm a bit obsessive with things being like symmetrical.
Yes.
And it's very, it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes like either they didn't put it like symmetrical in this little gate deal that we have, like where it's obvious, or like along there. Or maybe a can was like behind the tree or something for whatever reason, the guest put it there or whatever. So some real-time feedback. Do you guys have any system like, hey, make sure, because like how you do anything is how you do everything, right?
True.
So
True.
If your runners are putting my cans back like against the wall, like perfectly symmetrical, like not right in the corner, but like right where they should be, like I'm all about visuals, right? So when a guest checks into my house, like if the sound from the TV's going and the couch is all nice and straight and feels good and smells good and the beds are nice and dialed in, right? Like just like the initial reaction, that feeling. So when I go to a property and I see that, and you guys do this, I'm just saying sometimes I've seen it over the years. When the trash cans are like perfectly symmetrical, I don't know, it's one of those things I really like to see.
This is the thing with, like I was saying, we have grown a lot. Yeah. When people were saying like, well, last year we had some issues with you, like I'm sure you did. Like we were a growing company, we were a startup. Now, just like you said earlier, I'm big. If something comes up, how do we fix that?
Right.
Implement new processes. So one of the things we implement in the last like 30, 60 days is hot lists. Property comes up with something that had happened, that an issue came up, we put it on the hot list.
Oh, you got a hot list.
We have a full-time can runner driver now for us. It drives our can runner Fiat around, especially here in Phoenix, that will go to that property and get it specific. We are dealing with humans, so sometimes we do have some issues where they get a little bit lazy or lackadaisical. Right. But that's why we also have those pictures. So now we can also have a full-time customer service department that's looking at all of our pictures. So we go through everything now to make sure that if something happened once and we know about it, I don't want it to ever happen again. Because not that I don't want to hear from it again. It's like, I'm a consumer as well. There's things that I implement in our business. For example, we had some in our business that was empty cans that we thought that if the cans were empty, that they shouldn't get taken to the curb.
Yeah.
Makes sense a little bit, right? If they're empty, why take them to the curb? Especially if they're, my thought process was, well, actually, I'm a homeowner as well. I have the service. My name's not, like, I have it as a fake name, so they don't know. Yeah, well, now they're going to know maybe, but so I want to know as a homeowner, right? As a consumer, like, I want to know if my can's not getting picked up. Like, I want to know this stuff as, like, my own data.
Yeah.
So there's been times where, I get to my house on the day the trash needs to go out, and I look at the can because it's not at the curb yet. I'm like, yes, I beat Can Monkey. That's what a consumer would think.
Yeah.
I go inside the house, I get the trash, I go to the trash can, it's empty. Oh, we haven't accumulated any trash. Oh yeah, we just got back from vacation.
Yeah.
I throw it in. Anyways, the next morning I leave, the trash is not out. I'm like, what the hell? Who missed my house? It's messed up.
Yeah.
Well, I get on there and I see in the notes that the can was empty, and they got there, before I got home.
Right.
Well, now I learned, I don't have that. We don't have an app. This is why we need an app. If I had gotten a notification saying, hey, Can Monkey was at your property, can was empty, it's on you now because we agreed to that.
Right.
It made sense. But I went back to our team and said, hey, we got to get rid of this now because if I feel this, I'm sure other people feel this. And if that is a situation that I feel like Can Monkey missed, even though now I can look on and see that we didn't, you don't have that access. So the first thing you're going to think is, damn it, Can Monkey never came today. And even though we were, and so my thought process, I paid the guy to go there. He did the route. Like, we were there.
Yeah.
Just take the can to the curb.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
No matter what, when the can's empty tomorrow, they're still taking back empty.
100%. And you never know with, like, let's say your can runner gets there at, like, 6 p.m., let's say.
Yes.
You never know if when the guests get home from dinner, they make a big meal at night or, like, they're munching, whatever. And then they put bags in there at 9 p.m.
You never know.
Right? But if they're at the curb already, then they'll like, oh, someone – and we put in our house manual, like, don't touch the cans. Like, that's a big thing for us. Like, do not touch the cans. The other thing is, you guys used to have stickers on our cans, which they get faded. I used to have stickers too. The sun kills us.
Yes.
But I've seen some orange zip ties. But how can you distinguish between neighbors now? What are you guys doing for that?
So in the city of Mesa, we got in kind of trouble for putting stickers on there. I guess it's like vandalization or something along those lines.
Got it.
So we took them off of Mesa, but no one else said anything. So we're kind of asking for forgiveness, not permission. So,
sure.
So what we're really doing is we have a full-time recruiter now. Like I said, we have people in place. So the recruiter is recruiting top, can runners. We're unique in the fact that, you and I are talking about the short-term rental industry this whole time.
Right.
Can Monkey also falls in that gig economy. Uber Eats, Instacart, Grubhub.
Yep.
We don't really think about that, but I have 2 clients. You're a client of mine, and so are my can runners are a client of mine.
Yeah.
And so we have that mindset of those are my clients. I want to make sure I have top quality clients. If that client doesn't call me back on a certain time, or doesn't start at a certain time, we need to get better clients. An abundance mindset, not a scarcity mindset.
Dude,
I think
amazing.
in abundance. I need to have as many can runners as possible. There's Ubers out here, Instacart. So the crazy thing for me has been, when I was the recruiter, because wore all those hats, when I would sit down with these people like, well, Instacart does this and Amazon does this. And I'm like, we're not Amazon, we're not Instacart. They're like, you're not? I'm like, you think we are? I was like, awesome. They're like, we're competing with them. I'm like, shit, kind of crazy, So that was like eye-opening to me that, we kind of created this whole little infrastructure, and with Can Monkey, I'm consistent, persistent, something in my DNA, and that's what I try to bring into the Can Monkey aspect for can runners is that if you're working for Uber, you don't know what your work is going to be like the day, but at least with Can Monkey, you know that you're going to have 2 to 4 hours every Monday, Tuesday, from your properties. If you want to do this gig economy, you're going to have 2 to 4 hours every Monday, Tuesday.
Right.
We pay our guys anywhere from $18 to $20, and girls $18 to $20 an hour. We actually had some can runners that came in. One of the can runners, she's a woman who's has adult children. I'm trying to be politically correct, but she's phenomenal. We love her. She's been with us for 2-3 years. I had told her that kind of lied. It wasn't lying, it was sales. I was like, hey, if you do this enough, you could probably someone already paid their mortgage off this.
Right. Yeah.
And it wasn't true, but I knew that if we had the hours to do it.
You're creating opportunity.
And so we had her actually last month at a client appreciation for our can runners, and she got up and said that now she's paying her her mortgage and her HOA
Man, that's
from
amazing.
side hustle, and she has a W-2, and she just figured out how to do this on her own time.
Yeah.
And that was cool for us to realize that we have the gig economy, we have W-2 employees, and we're just really creating another stream of revenue for some of our other clients. So
That's what
it's been
all
nice
about.
to, and also as many people, the more people I help, the more I'm able to help people, and more opportunities come. And
Absolutely.
it's been a blessing to help as many people as we've been able to, and kind of learn through these different times that we're going into, and kind of like you said, like we're creating our own little like worlds right now, and it's been fun to.
It's so fun.
It's been fun going through it with you, man. The short-term rental industry, and see what you guys are doing here. Do you guys have any like goals in expanding out of Arizona, or are you guys sticking in Arizona?
The demand for Arizona is so high for us that right now it doesn't make sense. But yes, we would like to expand in the future, like maybe Cabo or like Jacksonville, Wyoming, a couple Joshua Tree.
Yes.
So there's some other spots, but I guess that might be a worry right now, where it's like, hey, if I can drive up to Sedona and like get there in an hour and a half and kind of see things if I really needed to. We have a team up there and stuff, but if it's in Jacksonville, Wyoming, like that's so you had to get away from that worry and become a warrior with that.
With me, you know what it was though? Because my business partner was that mindset that you were. I'm not saying he's scarcity at all. He's not, but he's a little bit more, safe. I'm more like, if someone else has done it, then why can't I?
Yeah.
And especially when I started getting the thought process, and you might even think this after I say it, it's like, how often do you actually go to Sedona if you didn't have to, right? So you get in this thought process like, well, I've actually been in Sedona 3 months, and it's been running operational. So if I have someone in place in Sedona, why can't I have someone in place in Wyoming?
Exactly.
And then you get in this thought like, no, fuck it. Let me just, or hey, investor, do you want to invest in Wyoming? I found an opportunity. Now you know your numbers a little bit better. So now you're just like kind of like, hey, not going down the first 3 doors. You're going the 4th door right away. So that's what I started doing. And then what happened with us is that it started working, and it started even getting a little bit better. And so then now my business partner's like, let's go into another market. I'm like, oh, you want to now?
Now he's all excited.
So now he understands it. Like, and we did fail, or we learned from it in Austin, but like, what did we really learn, or what did we really lose? It was just a learning lesson. And if anything, it showed that like, hey, we could do it. Which is now maybe we get to raise our prices a little bit higher in this market. Like that's what we learned in Malibu. Gas is a little bit higher, the distance is a little bit different. It's not as condensed as here.
So do you guys did you partner with like a property management company like VacayAZ in Malibu?
So essentially, So like for example, like iTrip, Vacasa, Turnkey Who's Vacasa, Avant Stay. Some big, unbeknownst to us, Vacasa was like the mecca of short-term rentals.
It really is.
We didn't know that.
So we didn't know that either going in.
Right. So like like
it evolved into that actually.
Some of that's like not luck, but it's just you just did it and this what happened. So from that was where my aha moments were when one of our clients were like, hey, can you help me in this market? Like, well, how many properties do you have? And
exactly.
It's like, I got 25. Like, holy shit. It took us a whole year to get to 25. Let me call someone else in that market. And then someone else gave me 25. So now I had 50. So when we went to Park City, it took us it took us 2 years to get to 100 properties in Phoenix. And in Park City, we got to 100 properties the first day. And it was just from that thought process of connecting multiple contacts before we went there. Because and like you guys are doing your business. When you guys add on another business, you're now thinking in a geographical area. You want your properties close. You have your own fulfillment centers. You have your own ideas of why you need your own systems in place.
Correct,
So you're doing all the marketing. I don't need to do that, right? I just need to partner with you and make sure I do my one thing really good. Just keep using me and have no other mindset of like, you know what, I'm going to add on 20 new properties at the end of this year, and they're all going.
And how many properties are you guys present day?
Right now in Phoenix alone, we're at like right over 1,500 properties in Phoenix alone.
1,500 and in just Phoenix. And what about company-wide?
And company-wide, probably have a little, and it fluctuates. Right now, like, we have like mud season, but I'd say we're over the 2,000 mark. Total, but like we just had some go on pause, but then we just implemented some things about like putting,
So 2,000 So you guys have built this like amazing subscription-based businesses are like the most valuable from my understanding.
It's, I mean, honestly, the MRR, monthly recurring revenue, and that's the thing. I mean, just like Netflix, it started out when I bought it like 10 years ago, it was, $8 a month, and now it's $22 a month, and I still pay for it. I like the service and the value it provides, and so that's the cool thing with us. And I've been really good at, we've been really good at keeping our prices as low as possible. And when we add the application, and I feel comfortable, we can give you 99% accuracy on every single day because I have the systems in place, and I got that. You can log onto your app and look at like the Uber app, or you can see like, oh, Can Runner Jay's coming, they're 3 houses away, and now you just know we're on our way. You don't have to worry. When I have all
that's gonna be a game changer.
And that's gonna be a game changer. And then at that point, now I can actually provide the service that I feel comfortable on, because like we are in every market. I know we're doing a great job. I just believe now with the technology to help ease our clients' mind as well, because like I said, I can go on and look at our Slack. You can't do that right now, unfortunately. But when we give you all the access and transparency to see what we see, because we're not hiding anything. We want your life to be as easy as possible, and so you don't think of anything else.
And you do. You guys have done a fantastic job.
And I appreciate it. And we wouldn't be able to do it without you guys. I don't want to take any much more time of your day today, but I appreciate your time today and doing this with us. It's been great to actually like meet face to face. That's the really cool thing about this business is that we've been building this great, network and relationship,
like 3, 4, 5 years now, and
in the same market, but we haven't even met yet. And that's what's cool, that we've been able to help each other's businesses grow respectively. And it's not stopping here. So I can't wait to see what you guys do at VacayAZ, and we're honored to be a partner with you, and thank you for your mindset and helping future people maybe get out of their worries and become a warrior, and see maybe just starting with little wins of the day and accumulate that, and compound interest, and everything you said today will show them that it's powerful too for them.
Thanks for having me, Cam Monkey. You guys are fucking awesome. Love you guys.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, appreciate you.
Fuck yeah.